Resident Evil 3 Nemesis first launched for the PlayStation in 1999, bringing more action, improved mechanics, and of course the relentless nemesis to the survival horror formula. Over the years, the game has been ported to multiple platforms, including PC, with different versions offering unique features and drawbacks. Most recently, it was re-released on GOG.com, giving us yet another way to experience Jill Valentine's desperate escape from Raccoon City. With so many options available, including emulation, which one is the best for PC players today? In this video, we're going to explore all of them and find out. Let's start by looking at the original PlayStation version of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, emulated on Duckstation. This is the original game, released in 1999 and built on the same engine as RE1 and RE2. On the PlayStation, the game runs in 320 by 240 at 30 FPS and features that familiar low-precision polygon wobble that we've come to expect from PlayStation classics. The FMV cutscenes, while atmospheric, are low resolution, run at 15 FPS, and are cropped to widescreen. Yet the dialogue audio quality remains impressively high.
I'm sorry about your daughter, but there isn't gonna be any rescue. We have to get out of here!
As with its predecessors, you'll encounter loading pauses between screen transitions, and the door opening animations simply cannot be skipped, which can make the gameplay feel slow. When you run it on Duckstation, however, things look much better. You can upscale the game to high resolutions like 4K and take advantage of PGXP to correct the notorious polygon wobble. Plus, Duckstation offers multiple presentation styles. You can choose a smooth, high-resolution look with PGXP, stick to the native resolution with downsampling for a retro feel, or even add CRT filters to really capture that nostalgic vibe. Keep in mind, though, that some quirks remain. The loading pauses between screen transitions are still present, and any attempt to bypass them with settings results in freezes. There's also what I think is a Duckstation bug that occasionally distorts the audio a little bit, and it might be hard to hear it on the video, but here it is. And you might also notice a short freeze during the intro FMV cutscene. Anyway, to display the game in its correct aspect ratio, be sure to set the aspect ratio setting to pixel aspect ratio 1:1 and enable the crop all borders option. All in all, while the PlayStation version of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis carries its original limitations, Duckstation's enhancements help bring it into the modern era, although the resulting experience is not as perfect as it could be. Next up is the Dreamcast version of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, running on Flycast. This version, which released in 2000, comes with some cool extras right off the bat. Mercenaries mode and all of the costumes are unlocked by default, giving you immediate access to extra gameplay content. However, despite being on Dreamcast, the game surprisingly still carries over the low-precision wobble from the PlayStation version, a quirk you wouldn't normally expect from a Dreamcast title. Even though Flycast allows you to increase the rendering resolution up to 4K, it doesn't fix this wobble issue. In addition, Flycast suffers from the same stuttering issues we saw with Resident Evil 2, which can be very distracting. The FMV cutscenes in this version are still cropped and run at 15 FPS, retaining the same resolution as on the PlayStation. Unfortunately, the loading pauses and the unskippable door animations also remain present in this version. On the audio side, the overall quality is good, though the dialogue doesn't sound quite as good as on the PlayStation version.
It's true that once the wheels of justice begin to turn, nothing can stop them. It's true that once the wheels of justice begin to turn, nothing can stop them.
Graphically, there's a noticeable improvement in the background textures. They've been upgraded to 640 by 480, but they're heavily compressed, leading to a lot of artifacts, especially in the darker areas. Meanwhile, mask textures are still rendered at 320 by 240, creating a jarring mismatch between different resolutions. To top it off, the entire game seems to suffer from incorrect gamma levels, making everything look brighter than it should. In short, while the Dreamcast version on Flycast offers some appealing features like unlocked extras and higher background texture resolution, it's also hampered by persistent issues such as the wobble, stuttering, and low texture quality that keep it from reaching its full potential. Next up is the Gamecube version of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, running on the Dolphin emulator. This version, released in 2003, And unlike the Dreamcast release, Mercenaries mode and the additional costumes aren't unlocked by default, so you'll need to work a little harder to access those extras. On the bright side, this version has done away with the low precision wobble, delivering a more stable visual performance. The FMV cutscenes now run at 30 FPS, though they retain the same resolution as the previous versions. Background textures have been improved as well. They're rendered at 640 by 480 like on Dreamcast, but without the heavy compression artifacts, making for a cleaner, more detailed environment. The audio quality is also very good, with clear dialogue and overall sound that matches up nicely with the PlayStation version.
What do you think you're talking about?
Dolphin allows you to run this version at 4K, boosting the visual clarity considerably. However, one issue that persists is the incorrect aspect ratio, unless you opt for a custom Dolphin build. Like the other versions, loading pauses and unskippable door animations are still present, though you can bypass the door animations if you choose to use gecko codes. Additionally, mask textures continue to be rendered at 320 by 240, creating a noticeable mismatch against the higher resolution background textures. For those looking to polish up the Gamecube experience even further, the Seamless HD project is available. This mod replaces most textures with AI upscaled versions, and importantly, it upscales the mask textures as well, eliminating the mismatch. It also utilizes a custom build of Dolphin that fixes the aspect ratio and boosts FMV cutscenes to high resolutions, although some UI textures remain unupscaled. In summary, the Gamecube version on Dolphin provides a well-rounded experience, with notable improvements in textural quality and audio, though it still carries some of the inherent quirks of its era. With the Seamless HD project mod, however, you can elevate the experience to near perfection, if you're willing to tweak your setup a bit. Now, let's take a look at the first PC version of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, which was developed alongside the Dreamcast version and released in 2000. This release carries over many of the traits found in the Dreamcast version. Extras are unlocked by default, the low precision wobble is still present, and the dialogue audio is noticeably lower in quality.
It was Raccoon City's last chance. It was Raccoon City's last chance.
The FMV cutscenes also remain cropped, running at 15 FPS, in a similar fashion to their console counterparts. This version offers the choice of running in either full screen or windowed mode, though neither option is without its quirks. In both modes, you will encounter constant screen tearing along the lower part of the screen. The maximum resolutions supported are 1600 by 1200 in full screen and 2048 by 1536 in windowed mode. So while you can push the visuals higher, the tearing remains a persistent issue. Graphically, the FMV cutscenes run in 16-bit color mode, resulting in noticeable color bending that detracts from their overall appearance. On a brighter note, the background textures are rendered at 640 by 480 without the heavy compression artifacts seen in the Dreamcast version. However, the mask textures still linger at 320 by 240, creating a visible mismatch in texture quality. One advantage of this version is that it eliminates the loading pauses between screen transitions and even allows you to skip the door opening animations, speeding up the gameplay compared to its console counterparts. For those willing to invest a bit of time in modding, there's the Restoration Project mod available for this version. This mod brings several welcome improvements. FMV cutscenes are now uncropped, presented in high resolution and 32-bit color, though they still run at 15 FPS. And the audio quality is upgraded to be comparable to the PlayStation version.
It's true that once the wheels of justice begin to turn, nothing can stop them.
Along with these enhancements, the Restoration Project also includes various minor bug fixes and quality of life changes that round out the overall experience. In summary, the first PC version of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis is a mixed bag that's ultimately held back by its persistent issues. Despite a couple of conveniences, like skipping door animations and having no loading pauses, the constant screen tearing, low precision polygon wobble, and poor resolution options make it feel outdated. Even with the Restoration Project mod, which does improve the FMVs and audio somewhat, it still falls short of the refined experience offered by other versions. Now let's examine the Japan-exclusive PC version of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, known as Biohazard 3 Last Escape, developed by Sourcenext and released in 2006 for Windows 2000 and XP. This version is almost entirely in Japanese, so unless you're comfortable with the language or planning on using a mod for translation, you might find it a bit challenging to navigate. In terms of improvements, this version offers higher resolution FMV cutscenes that are uncropped and run at 30 FPS, a noticeable upgrade over the earlier PC version. The blood particle effects have a lighter red tone that gives the visuals a slightly different feel compared to previous iterations. I'm not sure whether this is a bug or an intentional change. Anyway, this version isn't without its problems. For example, it can crash randomly when entering new rooms, a glitch I experienced once while working on this video. Aside from these differences, Sourcenext's release is essentially identical to the first PC version, inheriting all of its pros and cons. On the plus side, you benefit from extras being unlocked by default, the ability to skip door animations, and the absence of loading pauses between screen transitions. On the downside, you'll still have to deal with the low precision wobble, lower quality dialogue audio, and the constant screen tearing on the lower part of the display. Now here's where the real transformation happens when you use one of the two major mods available for this version. The first option is the Classic Rebirth mod, which overhauls nearly every shortcoming of the original release. It fixes bugs, including those random room entry crashes, and eliminates the low precision polygon wobble. Not only does it add an English translation, but it also resolves the screen tearing issue and upgrades the display to 32-bit color across the board. This means the background textures no longer suffer from color banding, a significant visual improvement over the previous versions. Classic Rebirth further introduces various display and gameplay options, and when combined with Darren's high-quality videos pack, it delivers the best FMVs of any version, fully uncropped, 30 FPS, and at the highest resolution. Pair that with Lexus 87's high-quality audio pack, and the audio quality is as refined as it gets.
But there isn't gonna be any rescue. We have to get out of here!
The only minor gripe with this mod is the live selection screens, which look a little too bright. Alternatively, there's the Seamless HD Project mod, built on top of Classic Rebirth. In this version of Seamless HD, all UI textures are upscaled, and the FMV cutscenes from Darren's pack are even higher quality than those seen in the Dolphin version. The same issue from Classic Rebirth with the live selection screens being too bright still persists, however. With either the Classic Rebirth or the Seamless HD mod in place, Biohazard 3 Last Escape by Sourcenext becomes by far the best way to experience Resident Evil 3 Nemesis on PC. In fact, I'd argue that RE3 is the best Resident Evil game for the Seamless HD project. Its original background textures have enough detail to look impressive when AI upscaled, making for a genuinely standout presentation. Finally, let's take a look at the recently released GOG version of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, which hit GOG.com in September 2024. Essentially, this version is almost identical to the first PC release, with a few key differences that set it apart. First, the constant screen tearing that plagued the earlier PC version has been fixed in the GOG release, a welcome improvement for a smoother visual experience. Additionally, the blood particle effects have the same color tone found in the Sourcenext version. GOG's DirectX wrapper brings a couple of fresh options to the table as well: integer scaling and MSAA, which offer a few new presentation options for the game. But if you're looking for the best possible experience, the GOG version can also be converted to the Sourcenext version, making it a versatile option that can be enhanced with mods for an even more polished presentation. In summary, while this GOG version closely mirrors the first PC release, the possibility of converting it to use Classic Rebirth makes it a great accessible option for potential new fans for playing Resident Evil 3 on PC. In conclusion, when it comes to playing Resident Evil 3 Nemesis on PC, the Sourcenext version paired with either the Classic Rebirth mod or the Seamless HD mod stands out as the best option by far, boasting almost no flaws. Its enhancements, from uncropped high-resolution 30 FPS FMVs and pristine 32-bit color to robust bug fixes and superior audio quality, make it a near-perfect way to experience the game. For those starting with other PC versions, they're still useful as entry points since you can always convert them to the Sourcenext version with the appropriate patch. You can find a link to the patch in the description. On the console side, while emulation on Duckstation provides a uniquely retro presentation, complete with authentic PlayStation quirks and customizable visual styles, there's little reason to choose other console versions over the Sourcenext experience when playing on PC. Ultimately, if you're looking for the most polished, comprehensive, and enjoyable way to play Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, the Sourcenext version enhanced with the classic Rebirth or Seamless HD is the clear winner. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe for more. Also, consider supporting me on Patreon. I have videos on Resident Evil 1 and 2 as well, so make sure to check them out. And if you want to get in touch with me, follow me on X. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Brad.